In today's video, we are going to be installing a SQ Grand Vitara snorkel. JWB Customs have sent me this one out as well. We're going to be installing it on the SQ Vitara that I put the lift kit in not that long ago. This is the same snorkel I have on my Vitara. Works great, looks great, and I've had it on the car for a couple of years, or a few years now, and there's no sun fade or anything, so I think it's a pretty good bit of kit. So in the package you'll get the snorkel head, the main part of the snorkel, flex hose to go from the snorkel to your airbox, an adapter to go on snorkel, some hose clamps, a sticker for the snorkel, and various mounting hardware that you will need to mount this on the side of your car, as well as a cutting and drilling template. So really the kit comes with basically everything you'll need. You'll also need a few other things. So on top of what they provide you in the kit, you'll also need a zinc spray, Colgal, etch primer, some sort of metal protectant spray or paint that you can put on the bare metal that you've exposed when you cut holes in the side of your car. You'll need Loctite of some description to hold some studs into the side of the snorkel. It doesn't really matter what type of Loctite you use. And then you'll also need, well, you don't need this part. I just believe it makes the snorkel install a bit better. I'll explain it further once we get up to that stage. But a 65mm 90-degree PVC bend and some stainless steel screws. You don't need these last two things, but I feel that it just helps step up the level and quality of the snorkel that little bit more. But without further ado, we'll crack straight on to the install.
If at any point you want one of these snorkels, head over to jwbcustoms.com. .au if you're in Australia, leave the AU off if you're in America. Scroll down to SQ Grand Vitara, snorkels, click on that product, add that to cart, and you're good to go. So first things first is to remove the plastic guard liner inside your wheel arch on the airbox side of your car. It's pretty easy to remove. All you need to do is remove all the clips, and then it sort of just pulls out. Relatively easy to do. The next thing to do is to remove the factory, guard, snorkel, or whatever you want to call it. A bit of piping inside the guard. So there's two nuts in there behind the wiring loom. It's a bit hard to get to. And then inside your wheel arch, it should just pull out, just like that. So now we're going to talk about that 65mm 90-degree PVC bend that I mentioned earlier in the video. Just to be clear, you do not need this to install the snorkel properly or well. I just think it improves the snorkel install just that little bit better. The issue with the standard flex hose is, as you can see, it's got a bigger bend radius than that PVC bend, and to fit it onto the factory airbox you also have to use that rubber ring on the standard snorkel, which is okay. It's just a bit fiddly and everything, but that PVC bend, as you can see, the flex hose fits around it just right, and then on the airbox side the PVC just slides straight on. It's almost a snug fit, which is quite surprising. As you can see there, just slides straight on, there's not much play. So what we'll do is we will silicone that pipe onto that other pipe, and then we'll put a couple of screws in it when we've got it set to the right angle, and it'll seal up and be perfect. But yeah, again, you don't need to do it. You can just use the flex hose, but I think this is a good thing to do. Now what we need to do is we're preparing to silicone these things onto the airbox. We need to prepare the surfaces. This little hose into the airbox, if you don't silicone it up, it will cause a few air leaks. And this PVC pipe here, I've applied way too much silicone here. I take some off later on, but just using some good old normal roof and gutter. With that already, as you can see, I'm just sliding it on there, and I'm just giving it a little bit of a twist to make sure that silicone's everywhere. I then decided to take it off and saw, that's when I saw I put way too much silicone on, so taken a bit off and slid it on, and we're just scooping it from the outside a little bit as well. And then here you can see I'm sending some screws in. I've set the angle of that PVC pipe to run just above where the plastic guard liner will be. Then in here, just applying quite a bit of silicone around. This can be quite a difficult spot to seal up properly. As you'll see later in the video, this part actually didn't seal properly on my first attempt. So that is the final product of it all sealed up. Not pretty, but it'll do the job. Now moving on to cutting the hole. So the template they give you with the kit is very good. It tells you where to line up with the top of your guard, where to line up with the back of your guard and all of that stuff, and it's pretty clear. So you just tape that on, and then I ended up just getting a step drill. You can use a hole saw at this stage to drill out the center hole, but I just chose to go for a step drill and drilled lots of little holes the entire way around the outer diameter of the biggest hole there for the snorkel. And then I'm drilling out the 3 mounting holes. You see I'm just working my way around now just to get that centerpiece to fall out. It is a bit time consuming just using a drill bit rather than a hole saw, but it's what I had. Now that we've got our holes drilled out and all the sharp edges taken off, what we need to do is we need to mock the snorkel up on the side so we can work out where our bracket goes up there on our, I guess, A-pillar or whatever you want to call it. Now to do that, the bottom of the snorkel here has some grub screws that we need to screw in. I believe we can put 2 in now, place it on the car, and then put the other one in. But before we do that, we need to bolt this bracket on up here. Now what we're going to do is we will place this on the car and then mark the top and bottom and edge of where this bracket needs to go. We can take it off the car, take this bracket off, place the bracket onto the roof and mark our center holes. Then we will drill one of the holes out, pop rivet it, drill the other hole out, pop rivet it, and then continue. The first time fitting the snorkel, you might find that the 3 mounting holes at the bottom of the snorkel may need to be made bigger, or sort of, drag them out to one side a little bit. That's totally fine. The template's very good, but, with this A-pillar bracket, you do just want to mark it out, take it off the snorkel, put it back on the snorkel, triple, double check and everything, because it'll just be a pain if you get those holes in the wrong spot. Now, with this top bracket, we will drill our first hole, get it to size, place the bracket and the pop rivet in without popping it in place, and then we'll drill the lower hole. Once those 2 holes are drilled, we need to protect that metal with some sort of etch primer or gal spray, just something that'll stop the corrosion. So I like to spray that onto the end of an earplug, and while we're waiting for the top to dry, we will do the same to the bottom holes. Once the top is dry, we'll just place the bracket in place with the correct orientation and pop the pop rivet. This bracket in behind the new hole needs to go. It serves no purpose anymore, so we need to get rid of it. It's just spot welded on, so I find smacking the spot welds with a hammer and just being violent with a pair of pliers, and it'll eventually come off. Now that we're permanently installing the snorkel, we need to put the upper grub screw in with a little bit of Loctite first. Do that up tight, place it on the car, loosely put in the 2 upper mount bolts. Then once that's done, Loctite in place the 2 lower grub screws. Once they're done up tight, you can go around on all 3 of those lower mounts with the mudguard washers and the nylock nuts, place them on, and do them up nice and tight. I found a ratcheting ring spanner gets in there best, but you could get away with just a normal 13mm spanner. Then once those lower ones are done up tight, jump back up the top and tighten up those top 2 bracket bolts. Once that's done, it's time to install the flexible hose onto the car. So first things first is to put that rubber expanding ring on the snorkel side. Then I find it's good to preload the hose clamps onto the flex hose. Then just all you can do is just struggle and keep trying to get the flex hose on in the, I guess, the best way possible. Then once it's on, you'll just have to spin and twist the hose clamp around until you can get a screwdriver or something on it to tighten it up nice and snug.
So now that we've got all the piping hooked up, we're just going to test how good the snorkel, or see if the snorkel's sealed up. So we're going to throw the airbox back on, and with the head of the snorkel disconnected, we'll start the car, run the car, and cover the intake up, and we should be able to hear, if it's leaking, we'll hear sucking and the car won't stall out. But if the car stalls out, we know the snorkel is sealed up well enough to do its job. Leak is fixed. The silicone inside of the airbox, that part was leaking a little bit, so I just touched it up a bit. It must have shrunk a little bit when it dried or something, but it's all good now. So there you have it. The snorkel does not leak. So one more thing I did around at the snorkel, I've wrapped a rag around the flex hose, just because at that point it rubs a little bit on the body of the car inside there. There's nothing you can do about it except for try your best to protect it. In hindsight, thinking about it now, I should have just used a big blob of silicone and let that dry before installing the hose, as the rag could get wet and just keep some moisture up in the guard, which wouldn't be good for rust. But yeah, so I've wrapped a rag around to keep it off that edge, just to stop vibrations from going through this flexible hose. As you can see, it's on and tight on the PVC pipe, and we just before tested that the snorkel is airtight. So the only thing left to do with the snorkel install is to put the head on. The snorkel's all installed. Now let's go and check it out. Sorry, I lied to you all. We're not ready to go. The arch or guard liner needs to be reinstalled back under there, so you guys don't need to see how to do it. Put it up there, put the clips back in. But yeah. Alright, so there you have it. That is how you install a snorkel on an SQ Grand Vitara. As you saw, it's pretty easy. Honestly, the hardest part is putting the hose clamp on the snorkel side of the flexible hose, just because it's awkward to get in there to tighten it. But the template cuts out really easily. Pretty easy to mark out this bracket and pop rivet it on. So it's a pretty simple job that you can do at home with all the sort of basic hand tools and a drill. But yeah, so a big shout out to JWB Customs for sending this one out to me. Without them sending it to me, I wouldn't have been able to make this video. But yeah, it's a really good snorkel. Same one I've got on my car, and it's been on there for a couple years now. Hasn't discoloured, hasn't done anything bad. they're really solid on the car. Like, this will be able to take a hit. It's very thick plastic. So if you want one, head over to jwbcustoms.com and go get one. But other than that, thanks for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe if it helped you out. But yeah, thanks for watching.